Yeah,
dude, that's awesome.
Downloading, bro. Watching Trailer Park Boys. I know some Trailer Park.
He's like, dude, I don't know about you, man, but
watching Trailer Park Boys.
That was my
awesome.
Jesus Christ.
Into religions.
Let me see. Dude, what is that fucking echo? What?
This is loud.
Oh, this is lag. It's funny to watch you lag.
Oh, dude, that's mad funny. Dude, what you can do is actually just turn the volume of it down. And then...
I just mute the...
Yeah. So you can watch it still. Word. Bird. Dude, so why can you not post stuff on Instagram? How come you can't it
only allows you... Well, I can put videos up, but they can only be a minute long, so...
Dude, what I mean is, how come you can't post, stuff on Instagram on your desktop? If you're on your PC,
you can go to Instagram.com.
Really? Let me see this. What is this shenanigans? I didn't know that I could do that. Let me see. Dude, by the way, boys, I got Trevor Hall going on in the background.
I don't know who that is, so I'm glad.
Dude, he's solid. You'd like him. I want to make sure that we can hear you guys though over that though. Let me see. All right, cool. We
some music.
Exactly.
He sounds like a fake country singer of some sort.
Dude, he's a fraud. He's fraudulent. Alright, babe, so what are you saying? I can post this on here?
Click that picture.
Click this picture.
No.
Oh, is that? What is that? I thought that was some kind of computer program talking in the background. Was that Amanda?
Yeah, it's me.
That's Amanda. Yeah, dude, that's actually my Siri. That's my personal Siri that I have.
Dude. Serious.
What the heck?
You can post on Instagram.
Oh my god. Amanda's trying to do stuff. We're gonna be throwing this live right now on Instagram. What the fuck are you doing?
I have no idea.
How come we can't post?
I guess you can't post shit from you.
That's
computer.
gay.
This is
What?
phones only.
This is phones only. Okay, whatever.
Sorry.
Instagram won't be seeing it. I'll just throw the recording up. Alright. Alright, boys, we're live. FYI, we're fucking rocking and rolling right now.
Alright, baby.
Alright, let me just make sure we got this up. Cool. What is... Oh, dude, so we got not impressed 1, 2, 3. What is a Zen Master? A Zen Master... Actually, I'm gonna let Joe and Tori answer that. You guys can answer that. Zen Master, what the fuck is a Zen Master?
They don't exist.
Not impressed 1, 2, 3. You just got clickbaited. The title of this was dropping spiritual bombs with 2 Zen Masters, and you just got clickbaited, sir. False advertising. They're not real.
There is no self. It's a collection of ideas you've created of your person, but that doesn't really exist. Zen is just being as harmonious as you can with what is, which means don't resist anything, basically. You mirror mind, you just let things come and go without attaching to them. I would say that's my best answer.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking solid.
I would say that a Zen Master is somebody that you pay a lot of money to. You go... You're wearing a robe, and they'll probably have crystals, all these have some crystals, and it's going to be a bunch of bullshit.
It's honestly...
A Zen Master basically honestly would show you that
there is no...
Yeah, you can't describe what Zen is, it just is. So if you ask a master what Zen is, he'll probably either slap you across the face or knock over a bowl of... Dude, see, actually,
where Tori was going with that, I legitimately thought, he was going to be like, Zen Masters are like hookers. You go to them and pay a lot of money, and they make you feel good.
Well, they basically take your money from you, honestly, and just beat you over the head enough times so you realize that they're no better than you, and then you basically figured out Zen. That's the whole funny part about it. It's like, I was like, That's the beauty of it all. Zen is something you can't speak about because it's just existence. So if someone tries to define Zen, they're lying because there's no way of doing it. It's just life. It's just whatever unfolds is Zen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, definitely, dude. I like that.
We're in essence all Zen masters because we're in Zen. You know what I mean? So you can't really master something that it unfolds naturally on its own.
Legit. I feel like when you're throwing those labels, I feel like when you try to put a label on anything, it sucks the life out of it, no matter what it is.
Words are not real, so when you speak anything about experience, when you try to label or define anything, when you even speak a word, you dualize because that word has an opposite. And define anything, that makes no sense. You know what I mean? Words are just ideas that we come up with to define or try to communicate what experience is, but you cannot really label experience. Like, my idea of love can't possibly be your idea of love. You know what I mean? But we have a word that tries to generalize what that emotion or feeling is. But
yeah, definitely.
Words are really confining, and your mental model of yourself is confined to the words you use. So, thoughts, words are the train tracks to thoughts. It's really all they can do is to help you to try to craft it. So it's almost like you're limited to your vernacular in certain extents. You know what I mean? 'Cause you can't synapses outwards to grasp definitions of experiences. Then you're basically limited. That's why when you look up here, and not to be but people in other regions of the country where there is less intelligence or knowledge or books to read, just not as harmonious with the natural laws of the universe. It was just funny to see the freedom fucking thing up here in Boston, how quickly it got squashed because we're intelligent and intelligence is love. You know what I mean? There's no segregation, no racism, none of that bullshit because we're intelligent. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy when, you know what I've always thought about? Intuition, man. I feel like the more I try to learn about stuff, the less I understand. If that makes sense.
Because when you want something, you're simultaneously saying that you're never going to actually attract it by wanting it. Simultaneously.
Oh no, I know what you're saying with that. But what I mean is, as I try to expand my perspectives and hearing a lot of ideas, I actually really feel like there's this deep knowing that truth truth might not really be the truth that I'm looking for, if that makes any sense.
So there's really no such thing as truth because everything that you see around you is neutral. All the objects we've defined, everything around you is neutral. And it's all composed of the same stuff. So meaning only happens when you put meaning into something. So there really is no such thing as truth. We could have the same circumstances and see it two entirely different ways because we're projecting our meaning onto everything around us.
Right.
You could have the same circumstances. I could be miserable. You could be extremely happy. One man's heaven is another man's hell because there is no fucking truth. There's no such thing. Reality is a sense of illusion.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to say in different words. Yeah, dude.
You know what I mean? It's fluid. You can imprint your emotions and your projections onto this fluid that we call the matrix, if you will.
Yeah, definitely. Yo, by the way, not impressed. 1, 2, 3. This is kind of an open jam sesh with my boys. We're just gonna be sharing different perspectives. So this is.
What are they? They're not impressed.
No. We just have some commentary going on. Yeah. No, it's just gonna be an open discussion. We're just gonna be sharing different perspectives. None of this. Yeah. No, he's Cool. Word. Cool, man. Awesome. Thanks for the follow, brother. Yeah. So, dude, Joe, do you want to talk a little bit about what you were talking about this morning? In your yeah, because dude, that was awesome, and I feel like, guys, just to preface this real quick, Joe was talking about in his Instagram. Dude, thanks for the follow, brother. Enjoy your dinner. Joe was talking about basically an in-depth yet short and sweet version of like the law of attraction, right? And like the incredibly powerful implications of the law of attraction, and how you like hearing it. When you hear how it can be applied, it should literally give you a spiritual boner, like. Because you can, or not even, maybe spiritual isn't even the right word, but you should get pumped realizing that you can literally create anything that you want. Like, how the way he worded it earlier was basically like, you are your own god, in a sense. And being able to tap into that, I'll let Joe kind of divulge that. And Tori, dude, you're going to absolutely chime in, bro. So I'll let you guys take it away.
Sure. Go ahead. I mean, this might get lengthy, but I don't feel like there's anything more important than it. So
yeah, definitely.
So, you know, the law of attraction, everyone's fucking heard about it. There's tons of books about it, and you know, they don't really tell you exactly how to use it. Like, they tell you about affirmations and vision boards and how you can have whatever you want.
I've done them all, bro.
They leave out like the hugest fucking clue, which is you have to feel that you already have everything you want, because there is no future. It's only now, and it's only ever going to be now. So you can't look to the future for what you want things to be, because it will never arrive, because the future is a concept that is not real. You're never going to be in the future, you're always going to be in the now. So in order to have these things, you actually have to feel right now. Because from your center, from your heart, which is a standing wave signal, you're basically imprinting the universe with your magnetic emotions, and you're magnetically attracting these circumstances, experiences, and things to match the wave you are sending out. Your mind triggers the emotions in your lower chakras, which in turn meet at basically your heart, which is this massive magnet of electromagnetism and electricity, which both of those things affect what we call physical matter and reality. So we're not observers, we're more so participants in the universe. Basically, you know, what happens is what is in the way of you being able to feel that you are worthy of having everything you want. They always leave that out. They'll tell you how to do it, but it's fucking hard when you've had a traumatic life or hardship, or you've been through shit, or you've accepted self-limiting belief systems, or you've been indoctrinated through your whole life through society. Like, they always leave out the pretty important things to getting to the point of being able to feel that you deserve these things. Now, what's in front of that is what we have perspective. So a lot of times we take this victimhood perspective of father's fault, it's my mother's fault, it's this circumstance outside of myself that is the reason I have these circumstances. Now, the current circumstances are basically, if we're talking about this, you have believed about your life till this point. So at any moment you can understand that what you're seeing as circumstances are temporary.
Yeah.
You can basically say, okay, I'm going to turn off all of what I'm looking at as my current circumstances, new waves of what I want. Because it gets confusing, because right now you look at your current circumstances and you're like, okay, well, this is my reality. But in doing that, you continue to create that very same reality for yourself. You get stuck in a loop. Is by confirming that which you think is true now, you continue to create more of it. So what you have to do is basically disregard what your current circumstances are and say, okay, I'm going to begin to feel the emotions magnetically, send them forth into my reality to create new conditions. And obviously it's not going to happen in the snap of your fingers, it's going to take time, but you're going to slowly see yourself attracting the things that you do desire.
Yeah.
So again, what typically is in the way is shifting your perspective. So one or anything outside of yourself or your circumstances, you just gave away all your power to create anything. So what you really need to do is you need to forgive everyone, including yourself, and you need to understand that every single choice you've ever made is from the relative point of awareness you currently had in that moment. So there's no such thing as mistakes.
Yes.
You didn't know when you didn't know it. That's fucking insanity, but we do it every day.
So basically it's a constant application of it.
Yeah, because like it's the thing is too is there's this old self. This is a story, because life is linear. So naturally, one now to the next, we create a linear story, and we create this metaphorical mental model of this character of ourselves in our head. we're like this character, right, in this book, and we have all these chapters, we have all these people. Shedding the story, we hang on to it because it's comfortable, it's familiar, it's navigable, all the friends we've had, all the things that we hold on to stay to that story. So the mind, when you try to break itself out of this old persona you've created, will get uncomfortable. Because what's familiar to us typically is being unsuccessful or being comfortable or being familiar or doing what we've always thought we were limited to be doing. Because as a kid, you know, we have this amazing imagination and dreams of what we want to do, and over time they corral you into choosing one of these limited identities. But when you attach yourself to the beliefs and the limitations of what you think this person is capable of, then you actually believe yourself to be limited.
Yeah.
Okay, I am going to dissolve the previous self that I've been holding on to, and I'm going to start scratch. I'm going to let go of all the fucking resentments I have. I'm going to take all of my power back by letting go of any blame, and I'm going to take full responsibility for creating my reality.
Yes.
As you have to people, all the things you've attached to, all those things will hold you back, and not to mention, like, your body is the antenna that is sending these signals outwards. So if you're not having a healthy body, if you have tensions on the body, if you're holding on to these resentments, then your antenna basically isn't clear enough to send signals out. So it's like you can't have healthy signals if you're having an unhealthy antenna. So there's just so many things on top of it. I mean, you're indoctrinated your whole life, cultural environment tells you that you can only do this, do that. It's only special people who get to have all these abundances, and like self-worth issue, like what's in the way of you loving yourself? What's in the way of you thinking you can't have everything?
That's a good question. Can we talk about that real quick? Like, what do you think gets in the way of self-love?
Well, think about this. When you sit still, it's a challenge because you have an idea of yourself. To sit with the idea because it doesn't match your real fucking self.
Yeah.
You're pure awareness. You're the universe with immense power to create. Not some fucking dude who, like, you know, wakes up 9 to 5, works for another person, just makes fucking money, or whatever the story is that we tell ourselves we limit ourselves to. You're not that. So sitting with yourself is uncomfortable because we, like, intuitively feel that we're more than we are.
Wow.
And I think it's all about, because, like, you can't be the idea you create of yourself, of your mind, right? You can't just be that idea. Because it's just an idea. It's a story you've told yourself. But with the power of emotion and belief, again, you end up crafting and manifesting that character because you believed and felt yourself into being it. But it's the beauty of ideas is once you change the belief you have of your character with the emotions, then you completely change your reality. And the beauty of it is you can literally do anything, no limits. You can change your brain makeup. You can change your fucking vocal cords if you want to sing. You can change your whole physical body. That's why, like, when we, like, have, like, you know, New Year's affirmations, it's like, I'm going to get in the gym and do all this. It doesn't work because your mind and emotions aren't in it first. So you're like trying to change the outward material plane, which is literally just a reflection of your inner plane, and they're not matched. So everything that you want to happen on the outer plane has to actually manifest on the inner first. So it's almost futile to go outside of yourself to try to rearrange everything when it's actually your inner self that will do way more of the work a lot less effortlessly.
Dude, okay,
So what's funny is like so many people are just chasing themselves around, and all they have to do is sit fucking still.
Dude, so this weekend, I disconnected from everything, and I basically went up into the wilderness. It wasn't like intense wilderness, but it basically, you know, I went camping this weekend and disconnected, and I was with myself a lot, and something that I realized, it wasn't as much of a realization as it was of kind of like a re-epiphany. Right, so it was like, I already knew like what was coming up. I just had forgotten it, if that makes any sense. So basically, and Tori, feel free to chime in, bro. But like when you're,
You alright?
What's up?
Can you hear me alright?
Yeah, dude, I can absolutely hear you.
I've been saying some stuff and I don't know.
I couldn't hear you at all.
Oh, really?
Oh, maybe not. No.
I couldn't.
Yeah, Tori, go ahead. Why don't you take it away, bro?
I think. Well, all right. Now you guys can hear me. Right?
Yeah, you're good. You're good. I'll talk about what I wanted to talk about a little bit after. Yeah, dude.
No, go ahead.
All I was gonna say was, I have been, like, especially right after I watched that movie, The fucking Secret, dude. I literally every little thing I did during the day, actually felt so much more powerful and meaningful after I saw that movie. And it wasn't because of the movie. It's because...
It changed my life back in the day, but it's hard to make it stick with you. You have
Yes.
to be really disciplined.
Yes. 100. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, dude. It's the discipline. So it's what you said, Joe. Like, you have to have that stillness and that just like being still and sitting with yourself to be able to realize and to actually be able to create, I think. Because like when you're stimulated, you're not creating. When
you're sitting still, like what I do honestly is the morning is a really important time because that's like what kind of spirals the rest of your day. This clear momentum, you just dreamed, you're here, it's like a clean slate, and like whatever you propagate through those like early morning like rituals or whatever really helps. So like at least for me, I've as a designer visually, and I like want to almost help other people do this is I've created like and that's like typical for like chaos magic and stuff, but really when it comes down to belief, there are no systems, it's just tools. So chaos magic teaches you that belief is a tool. If you use belief as a tool and your emotions as tools, then you can almost set a program like an operating system for yourself. I mean, you could look at this world, this reality as a hologram, you could look at your body as hardware, your mind as the software, and the language, the coding of this reality is your fucking language and the emotions you put out.
Yeah, dude.
So you sit every morning and say, like, alright, these are the list of the things that I would like to achieve in my reality. And you go through them, and you feel the reality of how you would feel if that was true now, and you walk around feeling those emotions. You will begin to magnetically unfold. Because you are the universe. It's easy to look outside of yourself and say, oh, that's that. You're it. You are center of creation, just like a central sun attracts its orbit. You attract your orbit. Your heart is your sun.
Yeah.
You're sending forth out of your heart. So a lot of times we mostly talk about what we don't want to happen, and then we wonder why the fuck it continues to. It's quite simple. Because we're sending it forth. And we're like, oh man, I'm so upset that this is the way it is. The universe only hears, alright, you want more of that? Here you go. You know,
yeah, dude.
Discern.
So do you think the language of the universe, do you think the language...
Motion is the language of the universe.
Yes, dude, I was just going to say that, man. I was literally just going to say it. Let me ask you something. Because when I watched The Secret, I actually had zero doubts that, like, I literally was my own co-creator / like, mini god. So I literally, all I would do would be think about things that I wanted to create, feel as though it like already was, and all of a sudden I started feeling really good, like really good. Like even if it was something simple, because I think the happiness and the joy was coming from realizing that it was already gonna happen because I was creating it or co-creating it, however you want to look at it.
There's the thing though, there's the gap. Already, you know what I mean? There's the difference. Is going to create it or already happened.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I see exactly what you're saying.
That's the tricky part.
It's tricky.
Here's the whole thing too. It's like so many people probably affirm things and have vision boards and shit, but if they're not feeling that they have it now, it's fucking.
That's where I was getting at. That's exactly where I was getting at. So for a few days, I was actually able to feel very consistently the intentions that I want, like the things that I wanted to manifest into reality, and it was very easy, especially right after I saw that movie, to bring myself into that emotional vibration of like what I wanted to create, and I would feel as if it was already happening. And dude, I promise you, the shit that happened in those 2 to 3 days was unbelievable. Because I was feeling it. I was actually feeling as if it already was true. And dude, I kid you not, dude, I was like in tears of emotional joy. Like before, like when I was thinking about like, alright, this is what I want to create. Cool. Let me feel like how it feels to actually have it right now, even though it wasn't necessarily there at the moment.
Walk by faith, not by sight, because for you to see the results, so you have to keep going. You can't be like, oh, I'm not seeing it, I give up, because then you just kill the signal. Like your emotions literally relax your DNA strands, and negative ones contract it. And DNA literally affects your physical makeup. So they have like quantum particles, right? They're coming and going. They're contracting and expanding, which is basically all possibilities at all moments. Your heart is a standing wave, which is stillness, which is just pulsating outwards. And your reality right now is a standing wave too. So what your heart is sending out is what is imprinting the coming and going of the quantum particles, which creates the materialization. Because if you look at anything in this world, it started as a thought. Every single thing that's been created in this world started as a thought. So that means the plasticine, almost like thing of your imagination, anything that you can imagine in your mind, you can create in reality. That is like, that's your sculpting. Your little fucking studio is your mind.
Dude,
what we do is
right
we
on.
make the story. We tend to say, oh, I couldn't possibly do that. I came from here. I wrote a story. I can only probably do this. My parents weren't that rich. I don't deserve it. We write a story. It's limiting. Whatever limitations we put on us and impose on us, they will be true. So if we believe those things are true, that's exactly what we create. If we don't believe, like, you can only attract what you feel you're worth. You know what I mean?
Definitely, dude.
Like, you're an antenna. You have to feel. And here's the really hardest part. You can tell everyone this. Away from the perspectives they've been adopted up until this point, then they're not going to go anywhere. So you have to almost kill the previous idea you've had of yourself up until this point, and that's really hard to do.
Definitely.
You're basically reborn. You're creating like a new avatar, and like I almost look at it like a game.
Dude, you are speaking my fucking language right now, because that's exactly how I view it. That is exactly how I view it. Tori, yo, real quick, Tori wanted to say something. I heard him trying to I heard his voice light up a few times. So Tori, what were you going to add on to that?
Yeah, I don't, like, when I'm talking, I don't know if you guys are picking it up. Anyways, it's good. Maybe it's...
I've been talking for a half an hour, and...
No, dude, you're good. You're good. No, Tori, go ahead, man. Yeah, we can hear you. It's I kind of heard you flare up for a second, and then it kind of died down. You were coming in loud, but I was hearing you. Go ahead, bro.
Okay. So just to add on to that, like, as far as being able to create, that takes being consciously awake. So you have to be able to visualize and witness your thoughts throughout the day. So in order to do that, you have to. Because one thing I did, it was interesting, like, this past week, and it was interesting because, like, Joe and I were talking about this week coming up. So last week what I did is I set a kind of like a goal for myself was, hey, I'm going to try to have positive thoughts this week. I'm not going to say anything negative. I'm going to try not to swear. And I did that for the week. But the cool part about it was actually not being negative and not swearing and not thinking. What happened is I started recognizing when I did have negative thoughts. And was doing that, I was like staying in the moment, and I said, why am I having these thoughts? Where are these thoughts coming to? Where are they coming from? And it brings up an interesting point, which is going to go a little bit off topic, but it's still kind of interesting because when we're thinking about our thoughts, we have to come to the conclusion that we are not our mind, because if we are paying attention, like there's the old saying, I think, therefore I am, but that's not 100% accurate, because when you're thinking about something, there's another aspect of ourself which is viewing that happening as a witness.
Yeah, so it's like, Tori, I'm just going to say this quote and let you go back to it, but it reminded me of, if the voice inside your head is you, who's listening to it? You know what I mean? So you're not... What was that?
What was that?
Hold on. Yeah, I did. Hold on.
I just started happening.
That's the Illuminati.
It's the Illuminati, boys. Alright, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
If the voice inside your head is you, then who's listening to it? Because, like, the fact that you can observe yourself, your thoughts, and your body shows that you cannot be any of those things.
Right.
So then you realize this person is like a canvas and a clean slate that you can do anything with. You've just been having to do what you've been doing with your whole life so far.
Yes. Like, even when, we have to think about ourselves, like, subconsciously, right now our body is functioning without us even controlling 90% of it, maybe 95% of it. Our heart is pumping.
Yeah, the subconscious is just like doing everything for us. It's like a miracle.
Yeah.
It is, dude, yeah.
When we're sleeping at night and we're dreaming, that's not us producing that. That's something beyond us where we're witnessing it. There was one time, and I told a few people this. I was meditating, and I literally was. I started dreaming while I was meditating. I was witnessing this dream occurring. I came out of meditation, and that's kind of when I had the realization that we are more than our body and our mind. Because how would I be able to consciously be able to see my own dream unfolding like that? It was an insane realization when it happened. I didn't even get like too far off topic, but my main point was that we have to stay in the present moment enough where we're paying attention to what kind of thoughts we're having.
Dude, yes, that's
They used to call it guarding the heart, right? Because like you have the upper faculties, and you can look at like the old depictions of Jesus with the Sacred Heart, the flame coming out the top. That's the upper heart. So above your heart and those upper chakras, those are the more divine instruments, and then below that, the more animalistic, because you are half mammal and you are half God.
We ain't nothing but mammals. Let's do it like they do on the Discovery Channel.
So when you guard your heart, and it's like what happens a lot of times we've been taught that, we should not feel. And that's because our feelings now we know, are extremely powerful, your emotions. So with thoughts are feelings. You know what I mean? So emotions shouldn't be confused with feelings, because they're a more broad spectrum. Emotions are only fear and love. Feelings are a much wider range. So they call it the marriage of, the heart is where the upper and lower chakras merge to create that magnetic impulse you're sending out. So thoughts, of course, visualization affect what you're feeling based on the emotions you're having. You are this antenna that sends these signals forth, and you also receive these signals from like the Akasha or just the consciousness of all. And then you basically are just designing your reality. So the hard part too is there are many parts of yourself that want to serve themselves. Like whether it's insecurities or traumas you've been through, hardships, it's really hard to get past those things. But what happens is people usually judge them or try to suppress them, and whenever you suppress an emotion, it has to go somewhere. It just gets stuck in your body and manifests into a tension. That's why I think yoga is massively important, because it releases those tensions, which are basically anchors and resentments keeping you from basically being a pure antenna of sending forth signals.
So basically what you're saying is if you have emotion that's been bottled up, you're going to actually store it in your muscles. So when you go and do yoga, it's like literally physical release, right? Because the energy can't be created or destroyed. So once that energy gets put into your muscles, you can release it.
You're time traveling. You're going back into trauma that you've stored for years, decades, maybe even. It's time travel. It's crazy, but you experience those emotions in that very moment, in the now.
That's dope.
Is awareness of yourself, because most people are not self-aware. So when you're aware of certain things coming up, you don't have to say, okay, that's me. You can notice it and be like, that's a part of me, and I need to love that part, instead of pushing it away and calling it ugly or the shadow. Every single part of you that comes up is you. But what we do is typically be like, I shouldn't be feeling this way, and and then you worry that you worry, and then you just keep going over and over, when in fact you just say, it's almost like treating your emotions like children, where you're like, hey, I love you, buddy. I'm sorry that you're coming up. I want you to heal, but I can't act from you. Act from emotions, and the way I look at it is, childhood we have traumas that we don't experience till decades later, because we weren't equipped to in that moment when we were younger. We weren't equipped spiritually or emotionally to feel what it was like, but eventually you do when you're older. So eventually, no matter what emotions you run from, every single emotion you came to this world to experience, you will inevitably have to. So you might as well move through them consciously through meditation or yoga, so you can get to this place of being a clean slate. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
You can distract yourself, you can drown it with booze, you can fucking smoke it away, you can fuck it away. There's so many ways you can just not feel. But you're going to have to eventually, and if you don't internalize things, you externalize them onto what you perceive to be other people, other things, nothing outside of yourself. Any judgment you have has nothing to do with what you're judging, it has to do with you.
Huh. So let me ask you this, Joe and Tori. When, ideally, right, if everybody was going to get something to take away tonight, I think what would be cool would be being able to have that realization that you can create first of all, you got to be. I think being present is the fucking foundation. You got that is step one. Like that is your purpose always. Being present in whatever you're doing. What's up, Joe?
Or what is in the way of you feeling pleasant? That's more important because
got it. Yeah.
Like you can sit there and practice. Okay, I'm gonna be happy this morning, but if it's not consistent, and you're not consistently happy. It's not gonna work to your full advantage. So it's almost like I feel like step one's okay. I'm gonna I feel like I'd have to sit someone down and be like, hey, let me ask you what you feel about your life right now. What you feel about your parents. What you feel, because it's all again comes down to feeling. So feelings are where you're creating. So we need to find the root of where you're feeling and what you're sending out into your life.
So
whether it's my parents, my environment, wherever you're placing blame, you are giving your power away.
So basically, in order to, so part of the process is doing things or changing your environment to allow yourself to feel good. Now, what if you just don't feel good and you don't you clearly are having negative thoughts during the day, and you see those negative thoughts coming up. Let's say you've accomplished the first step and you're meditating and you're aware, you're more self-aware. Yet you're seeing negative thoughts come up, and you're not necessarily feeling great. And in order to generate your reality, to create your reality the way you want it to, you need to be able to actually feel good with a visual intention, you connecting your thinking with your heart, right, which is where your feelings are. So my question would be, how does one recognize that the thoughts, when they're negative, how to actually start changing that around? Because it can be tough when you have a lot of shit going on around you, and it's not necessarily the easiest thing to just think about something, feel it, and feel great, and then, it's just going to manifest. When shit is hitting the fan, I would say that's the toughest part. When shit's hitting the fan, how do you create your reality and feel good?
That all comes down. Go to good Tori, you go first, just because I just keep going.
So it first comes with acceptance. I feel like a lot of people try to avoid those emotions that when they feel bad, when they have something go on. We've all had our traumas, we've had difficult situations happen. And a lot of people, what they do is they turn away from it, like Joe was saying, where they go to alcohol, they go to drugs, they go to, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, it's avoidance. It's avoiding that wound. There's a wound there. It's just like if we have a wound on our leg and we don't recognize it, we try to ignore it. But
it's gotta get work.
Because we have to sit with it. Exactly. We have to sit with it. But in order to first sit with it, we have to recognize that there is something there. There's something that's causing a blockage. There's something that's causing a problem. So once we recognize that, then by sitting with it, acceptance becomes the milieu where growth can happen. So if we recognize it, we're not trying to avoid it. Yes, is there going to be possibly a scar there that will always be with us? Possibly, but we can at least process through it. But in order to do that, we have to be able to sit with it. So, and my thing is that we have a society that's always trying to be stimulated. We're always trying to be in this happy mood or this happy place. I don't think that that's necessarily the way to go about it. I think we have to accept things as they come to us, as we're creating. But there's going to be situations that are out of our control. We can't control what other people are doing. What happens in their life is hard to control.
Yeah, dude, that's exactly it. Yeah.
On this, so I think it all comes down to your perspective. So, for instance...
Well said, Tori, by the way. Well said.
We can make a myriad of examples as to why someone will be upset. Perspective, it's not about the circumstances, it's how you view them. So, for instance, relationships. You could be upset that you lost someone, or you could say, that's for a reason, and then whatever, what misses me isn't meant for me, what's meant for me won't miss me, everything that's ever happened to me was supposed to, what am I actually hanging on to? What could you possibly be upset about, if you're viewing things in that way? You know, you don't have to hang on to anything. You don't have to look like there were any mistakes, because we now just talked about there not ever being any. There's no mistakes. There's no imbalance in a quantum world which we're in.
Everything's happening for a reason.
Well, the ego is just a collection of opinions you've had about yourself. But if it's over like an relationship, a job, a death, it's basically how you view it. It's not the reality of it. So it's all infinite perspectives, and depending on your perspective of your circumstance, you can be happy. No matter the circumstance, no matter how dark it is, it's how you view the circumstance.
Joe, can I chime in super quick and just share a quick example if people can apply this, because this I think what you just said, dude, actually hit the nail on the head right there, and I think that like I think what you basically just said was something that I just realized, because when you, like, for instance, like, let's say you get a parking ticket, right? And most people would get pissed off about the parking ticket, I would say. I think that's like the default with...
You're just happy that you have the ability to have a car and to pay off the ticket.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, because I actually remember feeling like my knee-jerk reaction. Like, I could feel the emotion, like, oh, I got a parking ticket. Like, this actually happened to me. But I had a completely... Because I was so self-aware in the moment... I actually realized that I can view it in a different perspective, and actually remembering remembering something that I told myself that literally, in order to kind of help kind of change my reality, I actually started telling myself this: only good things are happening, because either things are going the way you want them to be going, which is cool, awesome, or you're feeling like a negative emotion, which is cool, because then you're kind of getting a lesson out of that, and then in realizing that's where you can actually feel good.
Your emotions are your guidance system.
Yes,
so if you follow what feels good, you're good, and if you follow what's not feeling good, it's just going to promote you back onto the path of feeling.
Exactly. It's like a compass. It's like a compass, and I think that's kind of what you're saying. It's like,
so instead of saying like this is negative, say, okay, well, I appreciate the lesson. I'm gonna learn from this experience. You know,
yeah.
Like, oh my God, I'm a victim. My life sucks. Because when you do that, you're just creating more of that. The universe doesn't discern. So whenever when they say count your blessings, like, that is an extremely important thing. So when you focus on appreciating what you have as you do, then you create more to count. Like, the universe will give you more to appreciate. But if you're like a child being like, I'm not happy with what I have, do you think the universe is going to give you more? You know
That's
what I mean?
true.
It's like a child being upset and not grateful for what you've already given it. It's not gonna. That's why, like, thou shalt not want is extremely important, because you notice whenever you want a relationship or want anything, you need it. And then when you stop looking, the person just appears, because when you don't need anything, that's when everything comes. By putting out want all the time, you're never going to get anything that you really want.
Yeah.
Like you have in order to bring it to you.
Yeah.
We're always focusing on lack and what we don't want, so we attract more of that. Because the universe, again, runs on emotion. It doesn't sit down and watch The Notebook with you and be like, tell me what you want.
Yeah, man. Wow. And yeah, I feel like being able to find a way where you can, because I think it's cool that people can, like, watch a video or even hear us talk about this, and they'll get it. And I'm not perfect, because I actually have to remind myself, and I have to reread stuff, and I need to rewatch stuff sometimes, in order to kind of get this back on, like, autopilot. Because once you do this enough, it will become on autopilot. I believe.
Yeah,
like,
the momentum is enormous, because positive affirmations and emotions are so much more powerful than negative that, you know, a lot of people don't even bother getting into this because they're just like, oh, whatever, I don't have time to do that. It's like, would you rather just have a shitty life when you really don't have to do that much work, actually, you know? Like, every day, like, set a reminder. Write down affirmations and make sure you hold yourself accountable, because it's almost like you're breaking out of your old self, which is really hard to do.
wow.
You have to literally, like, burn through your old self.
It's work. It's work that once you do it enough times, and do it consistently, it starts to become effortless, and you feel fucking amazing.
in the trenches of your current circumstances and be believing and feeling yourself out when it's so like apparent that you're in it now. So it's almost like you're breaking out of this cocoon by like believing yourself and feeling yourself out of it. So you're like creating new pathways. You're dissolving the old subconscious belief system you've had. Like it's almost like pounding in repetition. It's reprogramming. It's like an operating system. Like think about how many times you've said the things you don't want to be true. In the opposite direction, you have to start saying and feeling all the things you want to be in order to create the momentum in that new direction. Old mind, it's gonna try so hard to keep you in what's familiar and comfortable, which might be a really shitty scenario that you don't even really want. But since you can navigate it and you're used to it, it's familiar, the mind likes it. The mind loves comfort, and that's why most of the world doesn't shoot high. They just do what's comfortable and complacent because it seems like they're in control when you're not. Because when you want to be successful, when you want to go after your dreams, you can't just stop and be comfortable. You have to continue going and going and going, which is unfamiliar and is uncomfortable.
Well said.
It's like, you really want to just have a complacent, easy life, or do you want to fucking, be like fucking billionaire and have yachts and everything? Like, again, like you were saying, like, it takes time. Like, I'm not a fucking millionaire, but like the changes I've seen in my life in such a short time, and like in my life when I've been able to do this, like now I'm at this momentum where things are just coming, and I want to share this with people because I feel like it's time, and everyone can like restart their life and become anything they want. Like you don't even need to look like the same person. You don't have to dress like the same person. Like you're literally a new avatar. Like if you just created a new simulation, you just respawn.
Dude, yes, and that's exactly what I did, dude. So that's why when I saw what you were saying today, I was like, dude, I feel like having the three of us tonight would just be amazing, man. And that's actually, Joe, I don't know how I think you kind of feel similar. When I started learning about this, I actually completely recreated myself as a person. I mean, when I say completely, there's definitely still some emotional traumas that
it's like shedding your skin. You know what I mean? You have to do it over and over again. It's like dying and being reborn. You just upgrade. They're just upgrades to your OS. You know what I mean?
I like that.
Coding's whatever you feel. So I mean, as you get older and more mature and more wisdom, you have better ideas of yourself and what's possible. Instead of like shooting low, you continue to shoot high. It's about like breaking out of worthlessness. It's like a lot of times we just look to our parents, which are really these other human beings. They're not fucking special. I mean, we've been ingrained to think they are, sure. It's archetypal, so like there's so many ways to place blame outside of ourselves, but the easiest thing for people to understand is everyone, you know what I mean? And like that, maybe it's not the best that we think they could have done, but they could have. So everyone does the best they can, so there really is no one to blame ever, which is crazy to think about. You can't blame anyone ever for anything they've ever done, no matter how atrocious, because if they knew better, they would have done better.
Dude, I love you, bro, for saying that.
They do.
I love you for saying that, Joe, because, God, that is...
Forgive everyone.
You, dude, it's funny, man. Anytime you see somebody that's getting upset or angry, and you're grounded in this realization that, everybody's on their own path and everybody's trying to get by the best way they know how with the tools that they've been given. Just be grateful that, like, you are on the path that you're on and that you now have the knowledge to recreate yourself. And in realizing that when you hear somebody kind of coming at you with pain, it's not personal. It's just how...
Oh, yeah, you can't. That's crazy, too. You can't take anything personal because, like, I'm not what you think I am. You are what you think I am.
Yeah, dude. Yes. Wow. Say that one more time. Say that one more time for everybody.
I am not what you think I am. You are what you think I am.
I like that, man. Yeah, so I'm not really religious.
But I mean, other people are mirrors, but they lessons, Like, again, like, if you don't like something about me, it's not about me, so it tells you more about yourself. So we need others, we need, like, the contrast. We need what we might call evil. We need contrast. It's just what it is.
So basically, if people are watching this right now, and this isn't resonating whatsoever, and actually, if you're getting pissed off watching this, it's not us. It's good because that means that you can learn something about yourself through this. Because what might happen at the bare bones of this, and you're hearing this shit, your brain does not want to change. It does not want to change. It will keep you stuck. It will fucking...
It will make elaborate excuses. It will do very cunning things, you know what I mean? Like, it's a brilliant tool, but it saves to our mind. We want to be able to master it.
It's a blessing and a curse, and you got to know how to... Once you become the master of your brain, then you're able to connect your brain to your heart in the sense that you can consciously create visually with your brain intentions that you want, and then connect it to the emotion of already having it, connecting the two.
The vehicle, it's a vehicle of our intentions instead of like something we're just at the whim of, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it's like this thing you can send forth. Like, if you know these things, it's just listening to this and they're really upset with their life, it's fine. Like, because if you can feel and envision that you can have a better life, then you're all set. That's all you need to be able to have in order to change your circumstances starting right now. But a lot of times we'll say, well, I have to do this before I get to this point, or I have to do this before I can, start. No, there is no fucking other time to start. You're only ever in the now.
Dude, yeah.
You don't have to be like, oh, on Thursday when I have my temple all set up. No, right now, just start to send forth the feelings that you would like to experience.
Yes.
Dude, Tori, I heard, that's all I heard you say. Were you trying to talk earlier?
Yeah, but it's all good.
Tori, I think I've said enough, Tori. You just go ahead.
I'm taking it in, so it's all good. It's all good.
Nice, man. Yeah, honestly, feel free to chime in whenever. I think practically something that you could start doing right off the bat is writing down things that you want to create in your life, like right off the bat. And then actually what you can do, and you don't have to necessarily go overboard with this, but maybe just like everybody that's watching and hearing this, there's so many applications for this, but writing down maybe something that you want to create in your life, like maybe a fucking goal for like the year, and looking at it every day and feeling it, like literally going to fucking La La Land if you want to, and visualizing like all the details, and if that helps, and feeling as if it's already true, I swear to God that you will be fucking shocked at how it will manifest. Because
this is the other part. You bring up a really good point.
Yeah, I'll let you chime in for this, man, because this kind of what you're about to go into is kind of like the unexplainable connection between science and spirituality right now, right? Like the magnetic vibration that your heart's putting out.
One thing that kills the signal of us putting it out there is wondering how it's going to happen and how it's going to unfold. We do not need to know that part of the story. We say, okay, I want these things, but what do I have to do for it to come true? And you don't need to know. It's like, you can't know. Like, there's too many opportunities, there's too many conjunctions, there's too many possibilities of how the things could unfold that you trying to make a picture in your head of how it will happen is just not going to be the reality of it. Just like in your life so far, like, you had no idea how shit was going to unfold to get you where you are. Yeah. But if you feel these things out, like the right people, the right circumstances, the right serendipitous coincidences are going to happen to make it true. You do not need to know what you have to do. Because again, doing is again resistant. So like when you want these things, you can say, I desire them, but do not have a lust for them to be achieved. Because that's again sending out lack. So you have to just say, I would like this reality to be true, so propagating it from my heart right now will make it to be so. Not looking to the future, when will this happen, or what I have to do outside of myself. Like, sure, put yourself available in the opportunities and start to work towards it. Is by you sending forth the emotions, not by you doing work in the material plane, because again, the material plane is just an outward reflection of your inward reflection. Of to try to rearrange the external circumstances, because they're just, again, a projection of your inner space and beliefs.
So, Joe, let me ask you this: do you think rearranging? Because I have my own perspective on this. I actually think rearranging your external can help, but I don't think it's necessary.
But at the end of the day, it's helping you. But again, think about it. Your external is making you feel and believe that you're doing something. You know what I mean? Like, you believe that, so you're right. Like, if you feel and believe that you rearranging your external helps, feeling that way.
Oh, okay, I see exactly what you're saying. It's funny. It's funny that you're saying this, man, because I actually just had a realization why you were saying that. Because when I was like, what's up, Tori?
I did as well.
Go ahead.
How Mayweather rearranged Conor McGregor's face.
Dude, that fight was ridiculous.
Yeah, I guess Conor's law of attraction wasn't as powerful as Floyd's skills.
He did. Well,
what was I going to say? Oh, yeah.
No, I was just saying, he definitely himself, like, I feel he definitely thought it was going to happen. He did.
Oh, shit. Tori, we lost you. We lost Tori.
You turned it on.
I know. Tori, come back.
I'll be back.
Hold on. Let me see if I can drag him, man. No. Holy shit. Let me text him.
Yeah, so on an energetic level, dude, if a quantum physicist wanted to argue with me about this, he could. But your heart, massive electrical and magnetic fields, much bigger than your brain. And those, again, both alter physical reality. And they can't even measure how far this field goes. They can't. Our current instruments can't measure feet, and that's only where the measurement of the instrument stops. Have technological tools and devices, and unfortunately we're pretty naive and ignorant to think since we can't measure it, it doesn't exist. Plenty of lights, sounds outside of what we can currently see and hear. We know that, you can't see magnetism, you can see its effects. You can see gravity's effects, can't see gravity, so it's the same. Your heart is a magnet, and what you attract towards that magnet is the signal that you put out. Circumstances to keep that wave going, so if you're grateful, you're attracting more that will keep you feeling that vibration of gratitude. You know what I mean? That vibration, whatever vibration you're choosing to put out, it wants to continue itself.
Got it.
Worry will attract more worry, gratitude, you'll attract more gratitude, so if you can practice gratitude or whatever things trigger that feeling, extremely powerful, and life will just give you more to be grateful for. So whatever created you, honestly, wanted you to have the best life you could possibly have by being thankful that it put you here. You know what I mean? Everyone walks around ungrateful, like unaware that they're a sleeping god and goddess, when they can literally create whatever it is they desire, you know?
Definitely. I got a goddess sitting right next to me, actually.
Sure.
No, dude, so what I was going to say is I think some people, I think the toughest part is truly believing that they have this power. Because I think the next thing that's going to come into play is, okay, I understand thinking and feeling it, but when will it come necessarily? And I think explaining, or like, how would you explain that to somebody that had never even heard about the law of attraction? It's just like the law of gravity, like you were saying.
Well,
you can't see
it's
it.
like throwing a rock at a pond. The bigger the signal, the more weight and more density, more magnitude it will have. So the quicker it will sort of manifest. I think it's been funny in my life, like things I put out unknowing about this a long time ago, eventually in my life manifested as if it was a very slow wave and it slowly attracted things, versus some things that I really put out there that came a lot quicker. So there's no real way of being able to time, how fast these things come to us, but it takes faith in the beginning, because you're not going to get results right away, but if you give up, you're certainly never going to see some. So it's almost like staying consistent, like every day, and when it gets easy, when it gets comfortable, that's when we have to continue. It's like a drug addict, when they're like comfortable and they're healthy again, that's when they're actually more vulnerable.
Yeah, man.
We have to make it a daily practice, or else we're like, well, things are good as they are, I can stop doing this now, and then we just fall back in our old tendencies because they're comfortable.
Yeah, man. Well, so basically, yeah, you kind of were gonna say what I was gonna add on to it. Basically, knowing so true that that it's already there in your life, that it's going to be effortless as you, like, in the journey of manifesting it in the now. Because when
and like, there's a momentum, because once you start to see results, then you start to feel really happy. And you start to feel more emotions towards that. Because you're confirming yourself that it's working, so then it just spirals and spirals over and over, and there's this momentum and this tipping point where you're just good to go. You know what I mean?
Yo, Tori's back, by the way.
Yeah, I'm back.
He's back in black, folks. We lost you, buddy.
This can all be proved. You know, the double slit test, John Wheeler, bombs, Bell test, it all showed us that this universe is basically holographic and we participate in it. We're not observers. Observers do not exist. So even like, again, the double slit test showed us that the fact that we are observing something and that scientists knew there were two slits made the wave particle act, or the particle act like a wave. So then waves can act like particles, particles act like waves. Particles are what we think reality is, and waves are what we send forth to create the particles. So,
and they couldn't figure.
Tori, say it again. You cut out for a sec.
I was saying they couldn't figure out whenever they would observe the atoms, they would appear. So what's actually happening is they're just observing the atoms that they are. So that's why when they look in a certain direction or they search for it, it appears. So that was like the interesting part of that.
Yeah, so they realized, they were like, what knows, because there was one slit and then it went through. And then they made two slits and two went through, and they're like, what knows that there's two slits there besides us? Wow. Well, they didn't realize that the particle is them as well. So it's funny, when quantum physicists are looking at atoms, it's a fucking collection of atoms looking at atoms.
Yes!
Whenever we have a feeling or expectation that we're going to find something, then we're going to, because we feel that we're going to. So we're just chasing our own tail. It's like the snake eating its own tail. You're never going to find anything because you're it already. It's like a finger trying to point at itself. It's like trying to bite your own teeth. You're it. So whenever you like think of what you want to be in the future, you're just delaying what is inevitable. Like, you need to propagate the waves outward to be what you want to be now.
Yeah.
No. Pretty fucking epic, but it's science, dude. Like, this is just cause and effect. It's just law of attraction and repulsion. It's really not hocus pocus. And I think that's the other part is, this is why it's crazy, because if you tell someone something and they're really attached to a certain perspective, and shit get all misconstrued. Because if I go into something believing that my viewpoint is correct, I'm going to create the circumstances to make myself look fucking like, you know what I mean? Like, correct. So that's why you really can't take other people's references for truth, because there is no truth. Like, they call it the prover proving. Everyone has their own reality tunnel. Like, if I decided today to believe in Jesus Christ, that he would create miracles, and I fully believe that, it would start to happen. If I believed Satan was fucking God, or gummy bears were my savior, I would start to manifest conditions to create that somehow being true.
Yeah.
That's why belief is so crazy, because other people who don't believe in your religion, truly believe in theirs, probably see miracles and probably see signs every day to follow why it's true, unaware that they're the God creating their reality.
Wow.
Right. We're never gonna see eye to eye if we're using belief to really create our realities. We have to understand that the power behind all of our religions is God. It doesn't mean it's Muhammad or Buddha or Christ. They showed us that Christ consciousness, Krishna, blah blah blah, it's all the same source. So there is no demigod or archetypal religious figure that you really need to adhere to. If you want to, that's fine, because it doesn't matter. It's your belief at the end of the day that is giving whatever credence and power. So you might as well give it to yourself. I mean, that's why they take your belief at such a young age and throw it in the sky, because that keeps you from believing in yourself and believing that you are God. Control someone's beliefs, you control their whole reality. And that's why we're fed bullshit every day, because if we believe as a world that the world sucks, that's the world we're going to get. Because all we have to do is focus on the world we want, and then we create it really quickly. But we always focus on how shitty the world is, because that's all we see on the fucking news. So if they control where our eyes go, they control what we think things are, they know that they have the power of our belief to create.
And that can be tricky to understand. That could be tricky to understand because when you realize that all these companies are trying to take your eyes, basically, literally like Facebook, Instagram, and just basically because that's where all the eyes are. It's not to say that they're good or bad, but that is where marketers. That's where marketers are going to be posting their ads because they know that's where all the eyes are. That's social media, right? Because media is basically what was media 40 years ago? The TV, right? You turn on the news. And that's where you got your media. Now you got the social media, right? So you've got marketers that can very trickily put advertisements in your Facebook feed, and they're controlling kind of like what is being fed through your visual reality on a day-to-day basis. So it is super important.
It's all emotional. Like we purchase based on emotions, you know.
Yeah, man.
It's all emotional. So like, where was it going with this?
Why are you thinking?
I haven't had cable or like internet. I mean Facebook or any of that for a while, just because I need to psychically cut away the ties of all that. Because again, they focus like the news is never good news. It's always what you don't want it to be. So like, imagine again with this power, you're looking in the mirror every day. You're an older woman who's like, I'm definitely gonna get cancer, and you're looking for what's wrong in your body. You're gonna create that. Tori's fucking jacked. You know, he's in shape. I guarantee that he's looked in the mirror and said, I'm fucking jacked. Guaranteed.
Dude, yeah, he fucking does do that, dude. I caught him saying it.
I've done it, dude. I'm telling you, look in the mirror and be like, you're the fucking man. I am whole, perfect, powerful, strong, loving, healthy, happy, harmonious every fucking day. Tell yourself you're the fucking man, because usually we're like, I'm alright, I'm this, I'm that. No, tell yourself you're the fucking man.
Dude, believe it or not, Joe, real to add on to that super quick, I think a lot of people don't even say that out loud. I think a lot of people don't say anything out loud. Instead, they look at themselves in the mirror, and their voice inside their head quietly says something negative. And it's really subtle. And I promise you guys, if you actually do what Joe says, and you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, yo, I'm the fucking man, I'm the shit, I'm suave, I'm amazing with girls, whatever the fuck it is that you want, you will manifest that. I promise you to God. As long as you feel good saying it.
You'll see yourself start to physically change too, which is amazing, you know what I mean?
You will.
What happens, only one Joe Skoll in the entire universe, so there literally is no one else to compare you to. But yet we do. Everyone else is on their individual path. Everyone else is an individual star. Stars don't compare themselves to others. They just fucking shine. You can't look at anyone else's life. You can't look at anyone else's fucking life or their path or their speed or what they're doing. You have to do what you love, or else you're just going to keep creating conditions that you don't want. Look at yourself and be like, alright, I don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks of me. Fuck I want, because I'm a boss and I can be whatever I want. And their insecurities are going to tell you can't do it, and that's just a reflection of them. So you have to like lead by example and just be like, look at it. This is my person that I'm borrowing. It's not even me. Don't confuse it for me. This is the clean slate I've decided to sculpt into reality. You know?
Yeah.
So you're not the person looking at, but they're an opportunity to do whatever you want.
You guys should be fucking stoked about this, by the way. You literally, I feel like when you I feel like two things that I want to say super quick. Unless you are in a fucking hellhole where the only thing to do is to change, this might be tricky because unless your reality is unbearable, more than likely it's probably just comfortable and you're probably pretty content.
Yeah. They know it. They know it well. They're familiar, so it's comfortable there, even if it sucks.
Right. So basically, your brain hearing this is going to resist this basically superpower that it has, which doesn't make sense, but it's very paramount that this is going to happen. Where your brain doesn't. Have you ever heard your brain is afraid, or people? Have you ever heard people are afraid of success? It's really your brain wanting to stay in the reality, or AKA the comfort zone that it's currently in. All your brain gives a shit about is reproducing and keeping yourself out of pain. And usually you're going to have to go through some type of pain, whether it's physical or emotional pain, to get what you don't necessarily have right now, even though you can feel it.
If anyone's in like a hell right now, I want them to also know that I've been there plenty of times, and I didn't just come to this awareness and everything was good. Like, I had to go through trips and traumas to get to this realization, you know? So again, it's not about like, or being in a certain place and a certain expectation. Usually it's actually the resistance of what you're feeling that causes suffering because you're judging your feeling. Usually it's you resisting where you are and thinking you're supposed to be somewhere else. So if you accept that you're always where you're supposed to be at every fucking moment, then you're good. Because the past looks better than it was, the future looks worse than it is. And if you're in the present, you're good. Because, like, there's nowhere to go. There's no speed to be. You're exactly where you're supposed to be.
Yeah,
and if
man.
anything's left your life, it was meant to. If anything, you know, is coming, it's meant to. There's nothing to hold on to. You let things leave if they're going to leave. Because better always comes. It always comes better. And that's why it gets harder. Because the better we find, the harder it is to let it go. It's a practice of letting go. And realizing the universe knows you better than you know yourself. And it always has your best interest, whether your ego can accept that or not. If you're hanging on to anything and you don't want it to leave, whether a relationship or opportunity, your ego, which is an idea of you not understanding that things are going to get better and the universe knows you better than you know yourself.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Everything always gets better. And if you're in hell, that's beautiful. Because all you can do is look up from there, and looking up from there is going to create up from there.
Dude, yeah,
Rock
man.
bottom is the most beautiful place.
Wow. Wow, no, yeah, dude. So basically, it's all in the perspective on how you're coming at it. And truly, I feel like you almost have to, at least at first, you're really going to have to really look at things as basically no matter what's happening, it's good. Like, it's fucking awesome because that's how it's supposed to be. And if, and kind of...
unfoldment. You're the unfoldment of the universe. You are evolution. You're not a human. You're not a person. Like, those are, again, just words. You're the whole process itself.
Dude, yes.
Like Ford. I always listen to Ford's quote. You know, he says, whether you think you can or can't, you're correct. But I want to, like, change that to whatever you feel you can or can't, you are correct. Because, again, if you feel you can't do something, life is going to agree with you, and it's going to attract all the situations that show you that you're right. If you believe that you can and feel that you can, it's going to do the opposite, and it's going to help you even more so.
Right
so
on.
again, if you're in low places right now, be to feel good, but release what you're holding on to, release who you're holding on to, and just say, you know what? I've had enough of like feeling this way, and I'm going to do something about it. And it takes practice. And again,
It does.
don't beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. That's even more crucial. Is don't loathe yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Be very patient with yourself. Because it takes a lot of mistakes. It takes a lot of getting it what we would call wrong. But mistakes are necessary. It's just a part of the up and down, the ebb and flow. Everything in this universe ebbs and flows. But the waves get bigger. You know what I mean? They get better. I mean, to be honest, I think gratitude is exponential to the suffering we've gone through. Because how could we appreciate something if we haven't, felt lost? So
Wow.
it just polarizes you. And that's like why it's necessary. And that's, I want to like expand on the topic of the world. See, we can't start in Eden because we never make mistakes, which means we never evolve, which means we never learn. So we actually have to go through the contrast and through the world that we want to call negative and shitty to actually get to the world. Because again, think about it. If you creating and feeling the world creates it, you have to be able to see what it is not in order to be able to see what it is. So we have to go through what doesn't work to see what does, to be able to create and manifest as a collective the world.
But I
So
feel
right
like
now
once
with
you get
racism, with
there,
all these things coming up like racism, it's because it's a wound. Just like wounds show up on the surface as a collective.
Yeah.
and I think the more focus ever keep putting on all this racism, the more it's just gonna
Exactly.
evolve and evolve and evolve, and it's not going away because we just keep putting so much focus on it, and no one just is like leaving it alone.
That's why they blast us with it. That's why there's false flag shit. That's why they just focus on it. So we focus on the negativity.
Exactly, they
because we
want
help
us to
them
focus on it.
So basically, wherever your energy and attention goes, that's where the life is gonna come up. So that's why I actually think this is why Trump won, because he was getting so much attention, and it's a lot of it was negative attention. A lot of like there was a lot of hate going his way. What's
That's
up?
what I mean. There's no such thing. That's why I was like so many people worried about it happening that it happened.
Yes, exactly, dude. And it's not even necessarily it's a good or bad thing. It's just
It's the way it is.
Exactly, man. Like, energy's gonna go where the attention flows, and it's so funny, dude. Because Mother Teresa apparently knew this so well that she said, listen, don't invite me to an anti-war rally or like the fight against drugs rally, the fight against anything, because the fight against like something like the fight against drugs, the fight against terrorism is just going to promote more of it because that's where attention is going. You know what she said?
Well, that's why it's called paying attention, because you're purchasing that experience. When you give attention to something, you pay for it. You're gonna experience it in your future.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Focus, if we stop watching the fucking news and confirming what we don't want the world to be by being like, oh, look what's happening in Charlottesville, that's gotta be
fake
reality.
news.
Oh,
It's
that.
fake
Focus on the world you
news.
want to happen.
Yeah.
So if we focus our energy on what we want the world to be and focus as it is now, you know what, like being optimistic and be like, you know what, this world is fucking amazing. You know what I mean? Not what it isn't. So focusing on lack will bring more shit. Focusing on how awesome everything is will bring more awesomeness.
Exactly. I like to think the world's a friendly place.
Great. We only see a small portion of where it sucks. If you don't watch the news, you'll see that everything's actually pretty fucking amazing and everyone's starting to realize shit.
Dude, the fact that like we're alive is amazing. Like the fact that you like we're alive is so fucking cool. Like, dude, I think a lot of people don't even realize why they feel like they need to bitch about stuff. Like people like literally don't even understand why they feel like they have to like talk shit about people or try to bring other people down.
They need help and they don't know how to ask for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like you can't hate on those people either. You just have
No.
You just have to take them for what it is.
We've been those people. We've been those
Exactly.
people.
They know not what they do.
Yeah.
They have no idea.
They know not what they do.
Tori, any thoughts, bro? Is Tori still here? Oh, he's still here. It sounds like he's shoving his microphone up his butt.
No,
What's
he's
up,
looking
boy?
in the mirror. He's telling himself how jacked he is right now.
Dude, I knew it. Knew it.
I'm hearing you guys out.
Yeah, I mean, think about this. Like, me and Tori know that we were Templars in other lives. If we were talking about this back, you know, a few hundred years ago, we'd get absolutely executed in public. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean,
Well, the fact that we can talk about this, knowing that there are tons of other people probably doing it, direction, and we're only seeing a small portion of what isn't working. You know, like when there's like 6 companies that control 90% of all the media, it's very easy to paint a picture like the world's shitty, when it's actually pretty fucking amazing. And like what we saw in Boston like 2 weeks ago was a like amazing thing, and just like the world's fine. And like in the deeper picture of this, they pretty much hide this epic secret, and it's the cycles of nature. We go through 26,000 year cycles through the zodiac. Every 2,500 years or so, we're in a different sign, and we go through more and less dense areas of the universe. And when we're in less dense, we have these type of conversations. All the knowledge that we lost comes back. When we go through the dense, there's masculinity too much, there's industrial age, and feminine's obviously coming back. And the masculine making its last attempts to really grasp onto it. And it's futile, because you cannot stop Gold Age and Dark ages from coming back and forth. So there's really nothing for us to stress about. There's nothing for us to change. I mean, there's so many things, there's ways to look at it. Like global warming, it's all how you look at it. Who's to say that it's not a natural process meant to happen? You know, who's to say? Because it's all nature. It's all unfolding exactly the way it's supposed to. The only thing that is out of balance is human perspective of what nature is and what the universe is doing. Who the fuck are we as little humans to tell ourselves what the planet's doing? We wouldn't be here without the planet. I'm pretty sure she knows what she's doing. She's warming up. She's fucking heating up for a reason. You know what I mean? Stop trying to save extinct animals. They're dying and being new ones born. You know what I mean? It's like we always do. We want to hold on to shit. We want to keep things. It's like nothing is ever going to stay. Like, what are you holding on to?
Dude, everything is going to, like, nothing is forever. Like, every single one of us is going to be gone. And everyone you know, every tree outside, every fucking flower is going to die. Like,
and a misunderstanding of what death is, because it's obvious, to me at least, second nature, that it's not death. It's just a new birth, like a cocoon. You can look at your body like a cocoon that's just preparing you for the next level. You know what I mean? And like,
yeah.
It's how you perceive it. You know, if you're terrified of something, you're gonna attract more of it. You know, if you're It's whatever you make it. That's the beauty of life. It's whatever you want it. If you want to be in hell, it's here. If you want heaven, it's here. There is no hell or heaven anywhere else. But in your mind, wherever you go, you're going to be there. Right now, I could be happy, so I'd be happy in hell. Like, you know what I mean? Like, people don't understand that it's not some place. Like, that's the other thing is when people go through hardship, a lot of times they move as if that's going to change their perspective. You know what I mean? It's never the environment. You're the environment. You're creating the environment. It's within you. Heaven is within you. That's what all the old spirituality said, because it's like what it is. You know what I mean? It's
Definitely.
You are God.
Joe and Tori, I want just to like give these guys something practical that they can start doing like right now. I'd like to give people 3 action steps that they can take right now to apply this stuff that we were talking about today.
Let me take a stab at it.
Do it up, brother.
So, I would say, if I was to like interview someone, I would just ask them to write down their current circumstances, what they feel their life is, and basically get to the root of where they're giving their power away, which is what we could call blame, or deflecting responsibility, or thinking you're a victim, or a perpetrator, or that you've wronged or been wronged. Because again, that is again giving your power away, and you don't have to blame yourself or anyone else anymore. So you can let go of that. You got to stop giving free rent in your mind to anything but what you want to be true. Secondly, I would say, make a discipline that you have to hold yourself to, because it's crucial. Making a list of what you want to be true. So
write this shit down, guys. Write this down.
I have like 8 limbs, a figure I've created. I gave myself a new fucking name so I could like almost dissolve the previous version of myself. Now I have one pillar is basically, my lineage, like feeling that you're a king, feeling that you have just as much power as Napoleon or Alexander the Great, George Washington, anyone, because it's true, anyone who's ever done massive, incredible things, you are just as divine as them. You can do anything anyone's ever done. It does not matter your circumstances. Plenty of people have showed you that. People have done less with more, so it's not about circumstances. Those are temporary. And then I would say, your success, what companies you want to create, feel that you already own them. Health, whatever body you like, and vision boards work for this too. Like you can have a vision board for each limb of your figure, like kind of sculpting your life. Your health, what body you like, what you want to put into your body. Your professional career, what do you want to be optimal at? Your relationships, we want them to be healthy. We want to have positive thoughts. Just basically all the limbs that could well round you out to what you want your perfect life to be. And the hard part is going to be potential. So it's going to become almost overwhelming, and then you're going to catch yourself being like, I guess this kind of car would be nice. It's like, dude, bigger and bigger and bigger. There's literally no limitations to your imagination, therefore there should be no limitations to what you want. You want a fucking island? You want a yacht? You want a helicopter? Not a friggin', I guess I'll get a Prius. You know what I mean? Like, think big. Stop being comfortable. Like, do whatever you want.
And just to add on to that, because I think a lot of people are going to be like, yeah, but does this shit really work? Like, I promise you, I swear to God, that, like, if you think about what you...
transformed my entire body, my entire intellect, like, my ability, auras, or have telepathic experiences, this is really, like, no boundary. Like, no boundary. If you believe and feel that it can become true, it's going to slowly present itself. The mind is going to double-check itself, and you're going to have to keep your check of mind. But, like, the more you do this every morning, and I really... morning, because if you don't, you're not going to do it. Your whole day is going to spiral from the first emotions you have of your day.
Definitely.
When you wake up, whether it's taking a shower before work, it doesn't have to be some long, drawn-out process. Go through the lens of what you want to be true, and then feel the emotion of them being true already. And that will begin to create a momentum and begin to propagate. And upon your affirmations, you can evolve them. Like, that's the other part about belief that really shoots us in the foot, is we don't evolve our beliefs. We evolve everything but our fucking beliefs, and they're outdated and expired. And they can keep us trapped, because your mental model of yourself is what you become.
Definitely.
But they help to create thoughts that will make you feel the feelings. So it's not about affirmations, like, as long as you're feeling it. Another thing is, like,
there's this other part of us that fears saying these things like they're wrong. Like, we've been taught our whole lives that being confident and cocky, not like cocky, but just confident in loving yourself is wrong. It's really hard. If you tell yourself you love yourself, you'll probably get a really weird feedback and response, but notice it. Like, telling yourself you're perfect, of course, there's no such thing as being perfect, but it doesn't hurt to tell yourself. It doesn't hurt to tell yourself you're happy, you're loving, you're confident. There's nothing wrong with telling yourself anything. And if you feel there is, that's an old program that you need to uninstall.
Right.
Think about it, because your subconscious is deep. We could say these things consciously. And you have to say these things over and over consciously so your subconscious affects it to be true, accepts it. So you have to talk your subconscious. Because your subconscious, like Tori was saying earlier, is what runs your auto programs. So your life is a reflection of all the things you deeply believe about yourself, whether you like to admit it or not. Subconscious new programming with new words, because again, words are what is at the basis of coding. Create these things in your subconscious, slowly accepts it, and deletes the old programming. It's like rebooting.
Wow.
Feeling these ways, you begin to propagate new brain functions, new neurons, new pathways of where your thoughts go. You don't have to keep feeling fear or negativity or worry. You'll just have an easier time, no friction of feeling the positive emotion. It's like, it's however you want to view it. If you want to look at like you're a simulation, that's worked for me. I mean, honestly, it's programmable. You're programmable, and that's why you're programmed in childhood. Be subservient, to stay in line, to recite what you've been taught. They don't care if you know it. They care that you fucking recite it, and you're subservient. That you're docile, that you don't question authority, that you don't move up, draw outside the lines, you know? And then you just have to say, fuck that. I'm a god. I'm not a fucking subservient employee for someone else.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and honestly, I think it can work in conjunction where, like if you guys do have a 9-to-5 job.
Oh yeah, there's nothing wrong as long as you're happy. Like, if you're not happy, then to be honest, I just think you're wasting your fucking life. And I know that you're not wanting to be unhappy because you believe that you can't, or feel that you can't be any other way. So you have to start to feel that you can take those leaps of faith, that you can test life to catch you, that you can have your own business, that you can do what you love, no matter how crazy it is. There was got to be millions of them that fucking rock. If you believe and feel that you can do it, you can fucking do it. Like, if you do something enough and you master it, people are going to want to pay for your services.
Absolutely.
Everyone knows what they love to do. They just don't think they can actually do it and make a living. And if, again, that's the slippery slope, because if they feel and believe that, it is true. If you believe you can and can't, you're correct. So it's your choice, your direction. And that's why everyone who's successful ever tells you to believe in yourself. We never listen to those words. We never listen.
Wow.
Yourself. Yourself is not you. It's a self. It's a creation. It's a avatar. You can sculpt the self.
Dude, that is the craziest thing I think. That is, it's not like taught in school, man. Like, and that was actually part of the inspiration for me.
And there could be much competition.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just put this into perspective, real quick. How I view this, like, your life is a video game, literally. You are fucking dropped on the planet, and you literally are basically randomly generated as a person, completely random. You don't really have. What's up?
I wouldn't say random. Well, the only thing is, I wouldn't say random because nothing is random. But see, your soul's evolution at this point in time. It needed Joe Scola because Joe Scola came with the current curriculum that you had to go through as a soul to evolve. You chose this avatar as you are now. You chose your parents, you chose your circumstances, and a lot of people will find that really hard to believe because they'll say, I would have never chose this. You have an ego and you realize that you came here to experience life and to learn lessons.
Dude, that's funny.
Removing the ego saying, I needed this, it's a little different story because you're infinite, you're potential, you're eternal. So why would you really give a fuck about 100 years or a blink in time? This is nothing.
Dude,
you know? So
Joe.
It's just about. Yeah.
Dude, so I completely agree, man. It's interesting because I actually view the parent thing a little bit differently. Like the way that I kind of view this is that you're kind of dropped on the planet, and from like age 0 to like 15 or somewhere in your teens to maybe early 20s. It's kind of like your stats, like your character stats have been rolled, your the thought programs from your parents and from your school and the friends that you kind of just picked up.
I mean, your ego has to develop as a coordinate.
Exactly.
So you know how to navigate
exactly.
So us having this conversation is like where you're like, okay, thank you for the navigation tools. I can completely change it now. You know what I mean? Like I totally agree with that. But like as the point, like random, I don't know about random, but I think that you're planted in the soil you need to be planted in because you have to grow through it to get
right.
I think light, you know, like
I think the most important thing.
You'll never be given more than your soul can handle. You know what
yes,
I mean?
Yes, I've actually heard that before.
I mean, but it also goes to show you how strong you are. You know what I mean? And like to be honest, those hardships, those moments that beat you down and create like the worst emotions are polarizing to show you the better ones. They're absolutely necessary. And I mean, suffering is something you'll never be able to avoid. So instead of feeling anguish towards it, it's again about perspective. So when suffering comes, you know, notice what part of you is actually resisting feeling or letting go of whatever it is, because you can't really suffer if you have a certain perspective about no matter what it is.
Dude, thanks for that. Thanks for that, man. I feel like that was really cool.
Death is just another graduation. Relationships that break your heart to show you where your wounds and insecurities are so you can heal them. People leave your life, they weren't meant to stay, and if they do come back, they're yours. But there's nothing ever leaves that's, you know, meant to be. Like, you can't miss meant to be. Nothing to worry about, you're gonna be fine. Better people will come into your life, every relationship prepares you for the next. Everything's about evolution, so when we resist reality, when we resist the flow, that's when we fucking hurt. That's when we suffer. And the universe keeps saying, come with me, stop holding on to the shore. It's just going to well up and it's going to hurt that much more. Just come with me, go with the flow. So let things leave if they're going to leave.
Yeah, man.
That's just the way it is. You know, it's like, you just come to this realization eventually of fighting so long that you let go, and then it's like, oh man, this is way easier than what I've been doing my whole life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, totally.
It takes a lot less effort.
Dude, I really like what you said about kind of like, you know, in your relationships, like kind of like your view on like how like the positive way that you can view those, like the people that left your life weren't supposed to be there anymore, and new people will come back, or new people will come into your life, and or the people will come back. I really like how you kind of were touching on like the positive perspectives, and to me are the correct perspectives for me, because I know that it's funny that you're saying all this, because believe it or not, Joe, a lot of those beliefs that you just shared, looking at a situation and viewing it the way that you kind of just were explaining, I view like all my situations, at least when I'm in a good vibrational state, that exact way, bro. And I think the way that you just shared that was just so cool. And
the only way I know that is because I did the opposite.
Yes,
you know,
me too.
I've held on to things too long. I've totally done what didn't feel good, you know, because there were parts of myself, my childhood, you know, through divorce or custody battles or upbringing of seeing bad parenting, you know, like, love my parents to death. But, like, those wounds are deep. And the only real way you can actually basically excavate them is to go through relationships. Because relationships are mirrors, so you project your pains onto other. You try to work things out onto other because it's easier to tell someone what's wrong with them or tell them what it's about to fix in them. But it's actually just you projecting onto them what you know that you need to fix in yourself that you're not sitting with. So whoever's telling someone else, this is about you, this is what's wrong with you, that's all you. And
definitely.
You sit with that, you can see where your wounds are, and instead of saying, I'm crazy, I have relationship issues, again, if you feel that way, you're going to create it. If you don't have relationship issues, you have unresolved childhood issues, I can nearly guarantee you.
Right. All right. I'm gonna wrap this up for tonight, boys. I want to absolutely do this again really fucking soon because this was awesome. So what I want to end on, and I'm gonna ask both of you this, but real quick, I want to end with that life analogy that I didn't necessarily finish. So basically, your generated as you're basically on a tutorial island from like age 0 to 15, 16, whatever, and then you have the conscious choice, hopefully, if you're fortunate enough to realize the potential of changing. And at that point, you can literally, just like Joe was saying, create your avatar, create your life exactly the way you want it to. And you basically get to choose your class. You get to choose, like, whether or not you want to be a fucking monk, or a ninja, or a mage, or a whatever. You can be whatever you want. And then you can also get whatever you want. And we can definitely go deeper with that in a later talk. But just know that the fact that you guys are here right now listening to this means that you guys are like ready, so I applaud all you guys for sticking around to the end of this, and for even being open, because a lot of people aren't. We've had probably about like 30 or so different people that have popped in and out. Yeah, and it's winding down a little bit right now, but I'd love to ask you guys as we're wrapping up, what the one thing, like if there was one thing that they could do to start changing their reality right now, or maybe not necessarily changing the reality, but something that maybe you did in your life that greatly impacted the shift for you, or maybe that realization into changing your avatar to what you wanted it to be. So Tori, we can start with you, brother. The one thing that people can apply right now, and if you can't think of something like that, maybe something that you did that helped you on your path. And Joe, same thing for you right after.
Sure.
I would advise people to schedule time with Joey and Shula. No, seriously, that was very informative. But on all serious note, like, getting around people that can lift you up,
yes,
down,
man.
push yourself. I went through, and Joe knows, and both you guys know, I went through my trials and difficulties, and I still do to this day, but when I have good people around me, both you guys have, influenced me, just the way that you are, and just having good people around you. I think that's really important.
Definitely.
You have people around you that are like vampires, and they're sucking energy out of you all the time, and they're not helping you to become a better person, work on some things that you struggle with, kind of bring you down. Those type of people, you gotta learn to cut them away. Definitely cut them away.
Yeah, it's like attracts like, they're gonna keep you down to the vibration that they're at, because you just have to match alchemically,
Yeah.
Dude, Tori, first off, dude, thank you for that, man. Dude, feeling's 100% mutual, bro. And I feel like I learned that so hardcore this weekend. Just with like actually, you introduced me to both Jesse and Greg, man, and like just this weekend with them, man, it brought me so up. It brought me in such a high that like I feel like I truly learned that this weekend. That actively surrounding yourself with people that bring you up and help you to realize the good in you, and also challenge you. Dude, when we were out in the mountains, fucking Jesse was like, "Nah, dude, we gotta do this." Like he was like pushing us to like go do stuff, and Greg was pointing out all the good stuff, and it was just it was just elevating. And I would say, dude, right on. I think that's awesome. That's awesome fucking wisdom, Tori, to share. And if your friends suck and bring you down, or at least that's the way you're seeing it, just be careful, because if you decide to start changing, what will potentially happen is your friends will drop out of your life, and it might sting a little bit, but just know that that's a good sign. That means that you're changing gears and changing your path.
Yeah, if you're not losing friends, you're not growing.
Yeah, 100%. Yep, 100%, Joe. Well said.
That's just the old story,
Yep, absolutely.
So,
I think
that is, if you guys were talking, being, I think, like, one of the things, I don't know if the same people are on, but a couple of weeks ago, like I said earlier, just try to watch the thoughts that go into your mind every day. Guarding those thoughts and paying attention to those thoughts, because those thoughts are very powerful. If you're telling yourself, as you guys talked about earlier, if you're telling yourself you're not an important person, you're a piece of crap, whatever you're believing about yourself, of course you're going to feel that way. You cannot think a positive thought about yourself in a situation and be feeling negative at the same time, and vice versa. If you're feeling terrible on the inside, it's usually because you're not paying attention to your thoughts, and those thoughts are taking over and they're staying for too long. So definitely paying attention to what is going through your head. Nobody can truly make us upset. Nobody can truly make us mad. It's all a choice. Like when people say, oh, this person made me angry or the situation made me upset, at the end of the day, everything is happening internally. We're all choosing to feel a certain way because we hear on the inside, we see on the inside, we feel on the inside. Everything is internal, so we're really...
Nothing can disturb your peace without your authorization.
Right.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Creating the future as we go through it. We're not arriving in it. We were the ones creating that all the way along by the way that we handle situations. You guys talked about different perspectives. Heaven and hell is really in your eyes, the way that we view the situation. If we view life as hell, it's only going to be hell for us. It's not going to be hell for everybody around us. You can make it hell for us, but at the end of the day, if you view life as heaven, we're already in it. We don't have to search somewhere for happiness because it's already here. We already believe it. And like you guys hinted on, it doesn't have to be this magical, mystical thing. It's cause and effect. That's all karma is. It's cause and effect. Every situation that we go through, everything that we say, ends up having an effect to it. And nobody listening right now, me talking, everything that was said here, every interaction that you ever have with anybody, you're literally recreating history. It wouldn't be the same without us all being there. Each and every one of us interacting with each other. We're very powerful. We may think of ourselves as minuscule, but at the end of the day, we are all powerful. We are all changing history as we go through it. We're changing this moment right now. This is all there ever is. And we're thinking back to the past, we're thinking of the future. It's always happening right now. So,
oh yeah.
Dude, righteous, dude. Fucking gnarly. I love it.
What was the question?
So basically, the one thing that you could give to everybody listening right now, the one thing that they could do to change their avatar, to literally change their life, like right now. I mean, there was so much gold that was being said, and honestly, if you guys replay this back, there's so many different applications of thinking about stuff and feeling as if it's already true and whatnot. But I think Tori's was really good. Trying to hang out with friends that are bringing you down less and less, and hanging out with people that bring you up and challenge you more and more. So that was Tori's. So yeah, Joe, if you had to give people one thing to do.
Tori's is an amazing quote. It's, if you're the smartest guy in the room, you're in the wrong room. If you seek, you'll find. So if you're looking for answers, you're gonna find them. That's just the nature of, again, like the power of belief. But I think at the end of the day, basically understanding that you are not what you affirm you are, you're not what you think you are, you're not what you plan to be, you're what you fucking feel you are.
Yes.
What you feel you are. And
fire.
And that, you just have to understand what are you. Because if you're not feeling love or positive emotions, there is something resisting you from doing it, because that's your natural nature. What is in the way of you resisting feeling that you deserve everything, that you are amazing, that you are whatever you want to be. Ask yourself what's in the way, because you're gonna find where you're far away. Because you are. Because if you weren't, you'd be good to go. You'd be feeling these emotions about yourself. So, when you give free rein in your mind to anything else, these things have implications, because these things turn into tension turns into ailment turns into what we call dis-ease. So everything starts in the emotional body before it comes to the physical.
Gotcha.
So your health, you're the antenna.
Don't put your health on the back burner because this is the instrument that sends the signals out.
Yes, that's a good fucking point.
Because everything outside of yourself is a reflection again of what you feel. So it's not about what you're doing on the outer plane. As much as it's uncomfortable to sit still and to feel these things, you have to sit and notice what's coming up without burying it, without pushing it aside. You need to do self-inventory because, again, yourself is a collection of ideas you created up until this point, and you can change it. Yourself, that's okay. Just begin to change the feeling and idea you have of what yourself is, and those feelings will drop away. And whatever you're feeling right now, I want you to try this. If you're feeling pain, tell yourself it's okay to feel that way the rest of your life, and you'll notice it go away. Because it's only in resisting what you're feeling that you're feeling more pain and suffering. So every feeling you have is valid. Don't beat yourself up when you start to do this about feeling negative. It's okay. You can feel that way, notice it, try to change the channel, whether it's put on positive music, or remind yourself of an affirmation, doing something to basically change the channel without judging the channel you're on. So there's nothing wrong with feeling anything negative. No right or wrong. That's another thing we get trapped in. Just feel, okay, I appreciate what you're showing me. I heard this fight I'm going to. Thank you, like, I love you. So love parts that you don't like about yourself coming up, and they'll be dissolved, because the more you resist them, the more they'll persist.
Yes, what you resist persists, man.
Resisting what you're feeling is just another way of making it persist. So love all that arises, and inevitably everything dissolves into love. And then there's nothing left, and you're attracting everything you want. You know?
Yeah, dude. Right on.
I would just say, like, whoever's listening to this, just let go of the story you told yourself up until this point.
Yeah.
Let go of the story you told yourself up until this point. You know, you aren't what you've been through. You're not the experiences. Because look, everything unfolds the way it is. You know, the flower doesn't look at its petals on blooming and being like, oh, look at that one, it unfolded this way, that one unfolded that way, oh shit, that one, it doesn't. It just lets it unfold. So you're the unfoldment of what you needed to be up until now. So don't look back and try to use words to define your experiences. Again, Zen experience cannot be defined by words. You're just the process. So now you can take control of the process. Things happen to you. Life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you.
Yeah, man. Wow. Dude, Joe, thank you for fucking sharing all the stuff that you did tonight, man. I feel like some of this stuff, dude, I feel like I learned a bunch of stuff tonight just talking to you guys. And I feel like a lot of stuff that kind of started fading, I got reminded of it tonight. So, rock on.
I mean, honestly, I've had these conversations many times with people, and I'm going to be honest, a lot of times it just goes in one ear out the other. They get amped for the conversation, and after they don't put it into practical use. So if you're listening to this,
gotcha.
Right now, all the shit
So one last bit. Amanda's also here, and I want to see if she has one tip that she can give people that are watching. One thing that they can do to start changing. So, do you have anything?
Let go.
She said let go. Just let go. Anything else you want to add on to that?
No,
what
that's
can
it.
hang on to in an impermanent universe anyways, you know? And that's the whole idea. Like, what do we hold on to in an impermanent universe? We just resist by holding on.
Exactly, and we have all of our negative thoughts and emotions come from things that we're not letting go and we're just holding on to, and it's only going to hold you back. So just let go of everything and be you.
Everything will come.
Exactly.
And everything will come. And I will wrap this up with my little tip, and it's literally kind of what Joe was saying about doing a self-inventory. I would say a daily routine, having a daily routine for the morning is fucking imperative. And I want to, if you guys are listening, write this down. I'm going to give you guys the things that absolutely helped me 120%. The things that stuck, because I've added and removed lots of different things from my morning routine, but the things that never have gone away are as follows. When I wake up, I try to think about and feel, most importantly, honestly feeling 3 things that I'm truly grateful for. And we can dive into another video conversation later. We'll do another podcast. Because like Joe was saying, it's easier to feel grateful for stuff when you've had a lot of different life experiences and have gone through hell and back, or even have gone to third world countries and just seen like really. Or have you ever seen a blind person in the street and immediately you feel grateful for being able to see? It's kind of like that when you kind of get to see different perspectives. Another book that I highly recommend is Man's Search for Meaning. You will truly understand, I think, how amazing your life is, and just how shitty some other people's lives are, and you really have it awesome compared to most of the world. So I would say, have a morning routine and try to think about and feel 3 things that you're truly grateful for. And then come up with a little list of maybe 10 to 20 things that you want to become. Things like, dude, I'm confident, I'm the man, I'm healthy, I'm vital, I'm fit, I'm calm and relaxed. Things like that. Come up with a list and feel those things.
Don't focus on what you don't want. So don't say, like, I don't want to be weak or I don't want to be, because, again, you're just focusing on that you don't want.
Yeah, dude, thanks for that addition, man. Good point. Good point. And yeah, I would say those 2 things to have in your morning routine. Look at yourself in the mirror and feel these things as they are part of you already. And I promise you guys, you will start to actually become this stuff. And it's the craziest feeling in the world. But remember, make sure you're feeling good when you're saying it. So,
yeah, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change.
Yeah.
It has to be a lifestyle. It has to.
Yeah. That's why it doesn't work when we have New Year's resolutions, because we're not actually feeling it first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Totally.
Like when you're saying with the routine in the morning, I think that's important because it has to be practiced, because a lot of times it stays up in our mind and we have these great ideas, like the New Year's resolution. But the action, the emotions that we guys talked about earlier, that stuff has to come up, and then you have to put it into action. The action is the part that has to come after that and has to be practiced or use it. That's why people read all these self-help books and go to these seminars and stuff. They go to church on Sundays. Once they leave those atmospheres, they're not practicing these things because all they're doing is regurgitating information.
Yeah, they want a quick fix,
Yes, it just becomes this knowledge that they have, but it's actually putting it into any type of action within their life. So it has to be something that's done there, just like working out, eating healthy, whatever it is. It has to become a lifestyle. It can't just be a part-time.
Yeah, it has to start on the inner, that many form the outer.
Dude, yeah, and kind of to incorporate what Amanda said, just to make it easier for you guys. Part of letting go, when you meditate, and like don't view meditation like it's like this weird
You can't have a purpose to meditating.
Yeah.
You can't be looking to add anything. You just have to. It's just something you have to do.
Yeah.
Like you'll lose a lot of stuff you don't need. You'll never gain anything, but it's just super necessary. Because again, like say I'm doing something on the outer plane. Because it's not going to affect me inner, it's a reflection of inner, so inner has to start in order for outer to work. So you have to, you're going to do less work. People are going to say, no, I have shit to do. I have to do it on the outer world or it's not going to get done. You got to do it on the inner world for it to actually happen on the outer world. So the more time you spend actually outside doing stuff, the less time you're actually going to create it, because it's all rooted from your inner space.
Definitely.
You have to start inside out, just like that quote about the egg,
I love eggs.
But out, it's life begins. You have to break from the inside out.
Cool. Alright, boys. Well, we will wrap this up. And, I want to thank both of you guys for coming on. Fucking love you guys. And, I feel like every time I talk to Joe, I feel like I'm always learning something.
I appreciate it. I'm just telling you guys what I need to know the most.
Dude, that's actually a good point, man. I feel like a lot of stuff that I talk about too, or feel the stuff that I feel like I need to hear.
Breaking out of the shell, dude. We have to say it so we can believe it in ourselves. We're breaking out of the old self.
Yeah.
Often I'll give advice and then I'm like, I don't do that.
Yeah.
I should be doing it. But it's easier to than it is to follow it all the time.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Alright, guys. Well, yeah, I'm going to rip the recording so you guys will everybody will be able to access this if you go to the collection on Twitch. I'm also going to be uploading it to the YouTube channel. And both of you fellas are going to have this. I'm going to link it to both of you guys. And we're definitely fucking doing this again soon. Definitely doing this again because this was dope. And we'll do. I'm down to like change up the theme too, because we kind of just went on a bunch of different tangents today, which was totally cool. I have no problem with that. That was the shit. So, on that note, guys, we're gonna close up the stream, Marino. I'm gonna go get some food because me and the girl are starving. Haven't eaten. When was the last time you ate?
Bro, that's just
12 o'clock. She ate at 12 o'clock. It's currently 9:40 right now.
Dude,
My
that's just
subconscious
what
is
feels,
hungry.
okay?
My subconscious is hungry.
Dude, she showed me a little text that she wrote during the stream because she didn't want to say it, but she literally wrote, "My subconscious is hungry."
My girlfriends are nothing to fuck with, dude.
Want to say it again, Joe?
My girlfriends are nothing to fuck with.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I need to go now. But yeah, boys. Yeah, I gotta feed her, dude. Hangry's nothing when you want to mess with, for sure. But alright, boys. I will talk to you guys after the stream. I'll show you guys text or whatever. And everybody that participated today and asked questions, thank you. And I hope you guys got some value out of it. And make sure you take an action. Make sure you fucking apply some of the tips. The ones that resonated with you the most, make sure you definitely apply that. One of the keys to the universe is speed of implementation. And keeping that momentum going because we become our habits, right? So make sure you're applying the stuff that we're talking about. Doing it on a day-to-day basis, and it'll become second nature. It's simple as that. But
To all my haters, I love you.
Cool. All right, guys, we are out. Later, boys and girls.